Hey everybody, it's me, Tameika Devine, your work-life integration strategist, leadership mentor, and the founder of the Possibilities Institute. And thank you so very much for signing up for this free webinar regarding work-life integration. Now, I am a work-life integration strategist, and most people are like, Tameika, what is a work-life integration strategist? Well, I wear many hats, as I will tell you about as we dive deeper into this webinar. But throughout the years, I have developed tips and strategies that help me balance. Well, I won't say balance. I hate the word balance because I think it's an unachievable goal. But what I do is I integrate my work responsibilities along with what I want to do in my personal life. And therefore, I practice work life integration. And through the years, I've been able to achieve much success professionally, as well as have a very happy, fulfilled home life. And I want to share those tips and strategies with you. Because one thing that I find with high achieving women just like you is sometimes we feel stressed, we feel overwhelmed, we feel like I have to sacrifice having things at home because I have work responsibilities, or I have to sacrifice what I want to do professionally and my career goals because I have small kids, or I'm helping take care of elderly parents, or I want to get married and date, or whatever that is you want to do in your personal life. But I'm here to tell you that you really can have it all. I hate when people say that too, but I'm going to tell you that. You really can have whatever God has placed into your heart. But you've got to figure out what works for you, what all is for you, and then develop an action plan for getting there. And through my coaching consulting practice, I help my clients with that. I help them with action plans and help them achieve true work-life integration. So let's dive in and let me share with you some of my best and brightest work-life integration tips. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And as I am going to share the screen, I am going to pull up what I call my favorite work-life integration tips. But first of all, let me start off by telling you kind of who I am and why I am a work-life integration strategist. So I mentioned to you guys, I am a wife. I am married to my very best friends. We've been married 15 years now, actually, and he is truly my support system. We both have very manageable jobs, but can be stressful jobs. Both are elected officials, but we are truly each other's ride or die partners. And so I have a very happy marriage and a life partner who supports my goals and dreams and all the big things that I want to do. And he makes sure that he helps me as I move forward. In addition to being a wife, I am a mom. My husband and I have three amazing kids, ages 13, 8, and 20 months. So yeah, 20 months. I have a toddler and I have a teen. And so I'm going to be a PTO mom for a very long time. But truly helps me when I can practice work-life integration. It helps me be the mom that I need to be to my beautiful kids, but also all the things that I want to do professionally. I'm also an attorney. I am a partner in my own law firm, Jabber and Isaac, where I practice in the areas of real estate, personal injury, and probate. And I've been a partner in my law firm for 17 years now. In addition to being a lawyer, I'm also a councilwoman and currently serving as mayor pro tem for my city. When I was elected in 2002, at the age of 28, I was the first African American female elected to Columbia City Council and the first African American to be elected at large. And at the time, I was the youngest person elected to our city council. Now, 16 years later, I'm still serving as a member of city council. I'm still the only African American female on our council. I am still the youngest person on our council right now, but the second longest serving. I'm also currently serving as Mayor Pro Tem, which is an elected position among my peers. And so the guys that I serve with recognize my leadership capability and my leadership skills and my opportunity to bring people together and really go for big goals and achieve them. And so they have elected me twice to serve as Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Columbia. In addition to that, I'm the founder of the Possibilities Institute and the James Henry Foundation. The Possibilities Institute, I'll tell you a little bit about more on the next slide. But the James Henry Foundation is a nonprofit that my husband and I founded a few years ago after we lost our son, James Henry Devine, who was stillborn in my 37th week of pregnancy. And so through that foundation, we have been able to turn our pain into a purpose. We have raised thousands of dollars to support other families who have had a loss and to support research around the issue of stillbirth so that other families do not experience the same things that we did. I'm also a best-selling author. I have two books. One I co-authored with my fabulous husband and is entitled Born into Heaven, Lessons of Love, Faith, and Reclaiming Your Joy in the Midst of a Storm. And in that book, we share with the readers our loss of our son, James Henry, but how that loss taught us about ourselves as individuals, ourselves as a couple, and helped us really figure out what our purpose was to support other families who have had similar losses. And then my latest book I am so proud of is called Think Like a CEO, but Act Like a Mom, The Pursuit of Work-Life Integration. And there I share with the readers how using real life principles of how to look at your life like a CEO looks at as a company, and how do you implement those tips and strategies to help you live a very successful life, and also practice work-life integration. And so I'm going to share some of those tips with you today. I'm also a public speaker. I speak nationally and internationally on the topics of women in leadership, women in politics, and of course, work-life integration. I have loved traveling this country, speaking to groups and organizations and corporations, and sharing the tips and strategies that I use on a day-to-day basis to help people really live their best life. And then I am a work-life integration strategist and leadership mentor. As you can tell from all the lists, I wear many, many hats. And so I'm able to do all that I do because of my work-life integration strategies and because of my leadership skills. And through my coaching and consulting practice, I share that with my clients so that I can help them live their best life as well. So, what is the Possibilities Institute? I've talked to you about that. I'm the founder of the Possibilities Institute. So I wanted to share with you a little bit what we do. Possibilities Institute is a peak performance consulting and public speaking firm specializing in providing personal and professional development for women leaders and moms to help them discover their leadership possibility, maximize their potential, and live a life that leaves a legacy. I do this primarily through my coaching and consulting and my public speaking. So I speak to audiences across the country. I also have clients in group and one-on-one coaching programs, and where I help them develop an action plan very specific to their needs and their goals. And I help them develop strategies on how do they achieve their goals, while all the while recognizing that they have to be true to themselves personally if they are going to really truly get to what they want professionally. And so over the years, I have worked with CEOs, I've worked with elected officials, I've worked with presidents of corporations, I've worked with community leaders, I've worked with project managers and ministers. It's just, it runs the gamut, but I've worked with women leaders throughout this country, helping them with their work-life integration. And I can do the same for you. So first of all, I want to kind of figure out where you are. Do any of these sound like you? Do you feel guilty about the family activities that you have to miss because you have work obligations? Or do you feel like you have to put your dreams on hold until your kids get a little bit older? Or do you feel that you don't have the time to network because you have things to do at home? Or are you constantly running around and feel that you have nothing to show for all of your effort? Are you too tired to go on date night with your spouse or your significant other because of all the other responsibilities that you have? Or do you think you have no time for vacations or even to do a spa day for yourself because there's so many other things that you, quote, have to do? And are you feel like you are juggling so many things, but you fear that one day you will drop that ball and you'll disappoint yourself and others? If any one of these things sound like you, then you are struggling with work-life integration. So what is work-life integration and why do you need it? Work-life integration is finding the synergy between your professional life and your personal life. It allows you to be true to yourself and your goals and not sacrifice what's truly important to you. So many times I speak to women who feel like I have so many dreams and goals professionally, but because I'm a wife, because I'm a mom, because I'm taking care of aging parents, because I have all these other things that I need to do in my personal life, and that I have people who rely upon me, I can't do the things professionally. Or sometimes I'll be talking to a woman who is really on that great career track, and they feel like, well, because I'm working so much to build my career, I don't have time to date. I don't have time for kids. Um, and I'll do that later. Well, guess what? Tomorrow's not guaranteed to any of us. And so we have got to do what we want to do now. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the tips and strategies that help me with work life integration. So hopefully it will help you get to where you really, really want to be. So I love the Proverbs 31 woman. We've all read about her and figure out that is the ideal woman, but you don't think that you can be her. But she can be you. You can be her. The Proverbs 31 woman forms the perfect picture of a busy woman running her home, going to work, building a business, making investment decisions, and giving to her community, all the while continuing to be the bedrock of her family, a supportive wife, and a wonderful mother. Now, that is the woman. But that's you. You are the Proverbs 31 woman. You just might not have figured out exactly how all that stuff works together. So we're going to talk about how you can do that. And I'm just going to share with you just a few. I have so many work-life integration tips that I've used over the years. And at the end of this webinar, I would love to invite you to sign up for a complimentary discovery session with me so that I can talk to you specifically about what your work-life integration routine is right now, and maybe add to your tips and strategies. But right now, I'm going to share with you some of my favorites. Number one, keep a calendar and put everything on one calendar. I will talk to you about that a little bit later. Two, set priorities to reflect your goals and know your why. Three, if your activities don't align with your goals, then don't do it. Four, instead of multitasking, practice production time and look for opportunities to overlap your activities. And then five, practice gratitude. Instead of being focused on what could be better, be thankful for what you have. So let's explore these a little bit more. So the first one about keeping a calendar and putting everything on one calendar. So this is an example of a calendar. Putting everything, your work responsibilities, your me time, your kids' activities, your date night, all of those things, putting it on one calendar, I know sometimes might seem like it could be overwhelming, but what it does is it helps you, number one, be able to get a visual picture of everything that you have to do and everything that you want to do in one place so that you can better manage your time. It also makes you understand that everything, every piece of your life, everything that you want to have on your calendar is important. If it's important enough to be on your calendar, it's important enough to make time for. So putting it on your calendar will help you figure out how and navigate how do you get things done and then what you have to do. One tip for keeping it from being too overwhelming is color coding it. So you might have a color for your kids' activities. You might have a color for yourself time. So whether it's going to the spa or getting your nails done, have that in a different color. You have your work stuff in one color. You might have your church obligations in another color. But whatever it is, putting it in different colors helps it not being as overwhelming, but keeping it on one calendar and putting everything and having it in one place that you can see it daily, weekly, and monthly helps you understand what you have to do, and it makes sure that you keep those things as a priority. Secondly, set priorities that reflect your values. So it is important that you do to-do lists and you prioritize the things on your to-do list. That's the biggest thing that I love about putting things on my calendar and having things on one calendar. I can look at the week at a glance, and as I'm looking at my week, I can do my to-do list based on the things I have to do this week, and then I prioritize them. So If I have a speaking engagement coming up on Thursday, then I know I've got to prepare my remarks. And so I put that on my calendar, and then I know on my to-do list, I need to work on my remarks and put that and prioritize it. And that may take precedent over something that's due next week or the week after. So making sure that you're setting priorities and then that your priorities reflect your values. And I want to point out and I want to stress that your priorities reflect your values. There are so many things that we can do in a day, but we don't have enough hours in the day. But you want to make sure that your priorities are reflecting your values. I have so many clients that say, yeah, Tameika, that sounds great. I'd love to go have lunch with my kid, but I really don't have time. You make time for what you want to do. And so if that is important to you, if it is Parents' Day or Grandparents' Day or whatever at your child's school, if you put it on your calendar and then you make that a priority, then you'll make sure that you plan your rest of your day around doing that activity. So prioritizing things is very important and making sure that you prioritize things that reflect your values. So some of the things that you think are, quote, personal or must things that you might like to do, but you don't think are all that important, if it supports your values, if it supports the value of being a great mom or a great wife or a community advocate or being recognized as a valued employee by your employer so that you'll get a promotion, then those are the values that are things that are valuable and important to you. And so you want to make sure that your priorities are reflecting those values. If activities don't align with your goals, then do not do that. The only thing that you can't recycle is wasted time. I love that saying because we recognize that there are so many things that we could be doing. There might be people who ask you to do things, and they might be nice things, but they might not align with your goals. And so, even though it's something that you would love to, say yes to, sometimes the answer really is saying no because it helps you not get burned out and not get overwhelmed. Let me give you a perfect example. As a public figure, as an elected official, I am asked to do a million things. Friday nights are family night for me. So unless it's major, 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 I'm not going to accept doing something on a Friday night unless I can take my kids or unless there's something else, unless it's really, really important towards our overall family goals. Other than that, I'm not going to do it. So someone may have a reception or a meeting or may want me to bring a welcome on behalf of the city and it's on Friday evening. If it might be nice to do, I might even love the people who asked me to do it and would love to do them a favor. But I really have to think about my priorities. And if I have not been able to do certain things with my kids over the week, then Friday is their protected time. And so I have to say no. People might get me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but Friday night is time for my family. So I won't do it. So think about your activities like that. There are so many things that people ask you to do, and they're going to continue to ask you to do it. No is not disrespectful. It's not a bad word. You have got to say no to things if they do not align with your goals and your priorities. Another tip is instead of multitasking, practice production time and look for opportunities to overlap to overlap activities. So what do I mean by that? Okay, you see this woman here on the left. She has, her laptop and she's got, her phone and she's got the world, the travel she wants to do. She's got all these things and she thinks that she's really doing something because she's multitasking. Most of us have heard, oh yeah, I can multitask. I can be on a conference call and be typing up a paper and be checking my social media. The reality is there's no such thing as multitasking. When you divide your attention between multiple things, you are not giving the requisite amount of attention that things need. So try not to multitask, but instead of that, maybe look for ways that you can overlap activities. And this picture here on the right is on the right is me in baby wearing yoga. So my little one, who is now 20 months, in this picture, he was about 3 or 4 months old. I needed to get back in the gym. I had a child at 44 years old, which is a whole nother webinar that I need to do for you guys. But I had a child at 44 years old, and it is tough to lose that baby weight. and I knew I needed to get back in the gym, but he was little. I wasn't going to be leaving him with a sitter. And if my husband was doing stuff, then, and I was nursing too, it was hard for me to get into the gym. And so what I did is I tried to look for opportunities where I could bring him with me. There, I found baby wearing yoga. You could take your baby with you and you would do yoga. And so I was exercising, I was being active, and I was also still having the mommy son bonding time that is so very important at the early stages of life. So there might be things like this you can do where your kid might have a soccer game and you want to work out. While your kid is at the soccer game, why don't you walk around a soccer field in between innings? Or I say innings, my child doesn't do soccer, so I don't know what they're called at soccer, but you know what I mean. Or if it's soccer practice and you don't have to necessarily watch the practice, walk around the field while they're doing that. Or look for ways that you might have an activity that someone's asked you to go to, and it'd be a great learning experience for your kid, or a great family outing for you guys to do as a family. Take them with you. Do what you have to do as far as showing up to a meeting or an activity or an event, but take your family with you, and you do use it as a family time as well. So look for ways to overlap your activities. I will tell you, you will not be sorry. And then the last tip I want to share with you today is about practicing gratitude. Instead of focusing on what could be better, be thankful for what you have. And I love this saying because when you stop and look around, this life is pretty amazing. We all are guilty of it. In this day and age of social media, we're looking on people's Facebook and Twitter and everything else, and we're seeing all the stuff they're putting out there. And guess what? They're putting out there all the stuff that they want you to see. They're not putting out there all the stuff that's really happening in their life that might not be perfect. So be grateful for what you have. Things in your life might not be perfect. You might not be traveling to different countries, and you might not be, making millions of dollars and all this other stuff that you see people putting out there on social media. But I'll tell you, number one, most of them aren't really doing it either. And for those people who are doing it, be happy for them, but also be happy for you and be grateful for what you have in your life. Because although you might feel like your life could be better, and maybe it could be, doesn't mean it's terrible now. And I'll give you guys an example. I love to learn lessons from my kids and things that they do. So my children, when they were younger, used to watch this movie called The Princess and the Pop Star. In this movie, The Princess and the Pop Star, they had this princess who was reigning over a kingdom. And then they had the pop star who was this, pop star going to concerts left and right and, having this great life. And both of them thought the other life was better. And so they looked alike and they decided to exchange lives for a minute. And after about 2 or 3 days of exchanging lives, they recognized that the other life that they were looking at from the outside looking in wasn't all that great. Now, I'm not saying that to say that the folks that you are looking at and admiring, their lives aren't that great. I'm saying stop focusing on other people and focus on you and be grateful for what you have. Because although you might want things to be a little bit different, and I always advocate to be dreaming big dreams and going after different, more goals that will stretch you, and that's what you should be doing. But while you're doing that, be grateful for what you have, because the things that you have in your life are pretty terrific. So those are my 5 favorite, or some of my favorite work-life integration strategies. I have a ton more. And if these have been helpful for you, I want to invite you to book your complimentary strategy session with me. Strategy session is an opportunity for you to get on the call with me, 30 minutes, free of charge, for me to talk to you about what I do and where you are in your life and where you want to go. And then I, after talking to you, can tell you about some tips and strategies to help you achieve there, but also specifically about how I and the Possibilities Institute might could help you get to where you need to be. And so if you're interested in that complimentary strategy session, go to my website, which is www.possibilitiesinstitute.com. Again, that's www.possibilitiesinstitute.com. There, if you go to the coaching tab and click and click on coaching request information, you can get on my calendar for a 30-minute call free of charge again. And therefore, you and I can get on the call and talk about what you want to do and how I can support you in getting there. So there we go. Those are my 5 favorite work-life integration strategies, as well as your invitation, your personal invitation from me to sign up for a free discovery call with me. I would love to talk to you guys. I will tell you that people ask me all the time, Tameika, how do you do it all? How do you balance being how do you balance being a wife and a mom, an elected official, a lawyer, a community advocate, an author? How do you do it all? Well, I will tell you that I'm very intentional about all things that I do. I'm very strategic about what I do. And I believe in stretching yourself outside your comfort zone and taking that next step towards your goals. So if you think that you are ready to stretch yourself outside of your comfort zone and let me help you with your goals, sign up for that free discovery session with me today. I want to talk to you specifically about what you want to do and what I can do to help you get there. So thank you again. I hope that these work-life integration strategies have been helpful for you, and I would love to hear from you. Shoot me an email or go to my social media and tell me how we can continue to connect and how these work-life integration strategies have helped you live your best life. So I look forward to talking to you, and I will talk to you later. Thank you.